Number 15, Nomad's discus shield. You know Captain America's big, beautiful, nigh-destructible shield? Well, Nomad decided that was too much hassle and got himself a pair of glorified frisbees instead. Jack Monroe, having gotten a wonky version of the super soldier serum that made him strong but also a little bit of a headache, wields these stun discs. These small circular weapons are not made of fancy Wakandan metal, but rather a robust steel alloy. They are strengthened to be thrown with astounding precision, weighed perfectly to deliver a non-lethal knockout blow to the head. Remember the keyword, non-lethal. On top of that, their best feature is their adaptability to ricochet off walls, allowing Nomad to strike enemies hiding behind cover, turning a simple alleyway fight into a game of superpowered billiards. The discus is better than any standard firearm because of its endless utility. A gun runs dry, but the disc keeps coming back, which is handy in a prolonged scrap. However, these are fundamentally tactical tools, great for street-level scuffles, but poor excuses for a defense. They lack the surface area to block sustained machine gun fire, and they certainly do not have the kinetic energy to absorb of vibranium. If Nomad tried to have a catch with Captain America using these, the disc would just harmlessly bounce off. So while they might not cut it when the cosmic big boys show up, these are discs that are great for a superpowered game of tag, especially when you're Cap's sidekick. Number 14, Deadpool's katana. If you're looking for a maximum carnage with a side of fourth wall breaking, look no further than Deadpool's twin katanas. The weapons of choice for the highly unstable Wade Wilson, he's a Weapon X alumni who, like Wolverine, but instead of just claws, got the full package. A healing factor that makes him immortal, a heavily scarred look, and a mind that makes absolutely zero sense. While he's handy with a gun, his true calling is these high-grade carbidanium swords that slow down other people's healing factors. Deadpool's insane agility and strength let him use these blades to deflect bullets with ease and dismember his enemies in a literal flash. These swords rank above Nomad's discs because they have true lethal offensive potential. In the right hands, they can bypass armor joints and turn an opponent into confetti. The downside is that they're breakable. When Deadpool goes up against super dense characters like Colossus or Luke Cage, his swords frequently snap against their impervious skin, making the fight a lot less fun for him. They might be awesome for slicing and dicing, but when you go up against the truly indestructible, your weapon shouldn't have a shelf life shorter than a carton of milk. Number 13, Sabretooth's claws and fangs. Forget fancy swords or custom-made shields, Victor Creed, or Sabretooth, prefers the original, built-in cutlery. This mutant, also cranked up by the Weapon X program, is Wolverine's dark mirror, possessing heightened senses, a savage healing factor, and strength that actually surpasses Logan's base level. Bet you're surprised, huh? His primary weapons are his natural bone claws and terrifyingly long fangs. He typically lacks the adamantium's lacing of his rival, which means his claws are just naturally dense bone. But they are still sharp enough to shred light metals like car doors, tear through flesh, and splinter wood. His whole fighting style is pure savage brute force overwhelm. Sabretooth's natural weaponry ranks above Deadpool's swords because they are a self-repairing, self-contained system backed by superior raw strength. If Deadpool's swords breaks, he's in trouble. If Sabretooth breaks a claw, it just grows back, making his arsenal practically infinite, which to me is a cheat code. What makes it even worse is that his immense strength allows him to push his claws through materials that would stop a normal blade dead. However, without that adamantium enhancement, they hit a wall against truly heavy armor. They are the peak of biological shredding, proving that sometimes the best weapon is just a very, very angry manicure that needs an indestructible upgrade. Number 12, Fantomex's guns. When you're a Sentinel human hybrid named Weapon 13 created in a secret lab called the World to be a mutant hunting killer, you don't use boring lead bullets. Fantomex's chosen tools are a pair of unique handguns that fire ceramic sentient bullets. These aren't just smart, they have the mind of their own, actually designed to hunt their targets. They can curve around corners, navigate complex environments, and are programmed to specifically seek out the weak spots on mutants or super beings. On top of that, they're often tipped with exotic compounds to neutralize specific threats. These weapons rank significantly higher on this list than Sabretooth's bone claws because they incorporate Hack's technology. The bullets virtually never miss, eliminating the most common failure point of a projectile weapon. They bypass standard cover, which I think is a game changer, and can damage entities that laugh off normal lead. However, they are still projectile weapons that rely on penetration. Against a target with no weak points, such as a solid adamantium robot or a fully enraged armor-plated Hulk, even a sentient bullet will be unable to deliver a critical fight-ending blow. They're perfect for a precision assassination, but when you need to actually knock a building down, I would say a bullet that can think just can't complete with raw force. Number 11, Ursa Major's bare body and claws. If you're looking for a super soldier who is less about precision and more about turning everything to rubble, say hello to Mikhail Ursus, aka Ursa Major. This Soviet mutant has the power to transform into a gigantic, terrifyingly massive anthropomorphic brown bear. Can't get any more Russian than this, can it? When he's in this form, he keeps his human smarts and his ability to hold a conversation, but gains superhuman strength and durability that makes him a match for the Hulk in a short brawl. His claws are not just bone, they are gigantic biological weapons capable of effortlessly tearing through tank armor and concrete bunkers. I'm ranking Ursa Major here at number 11 because his entire body becomes a literal weapon of siege warfare, which is a huge upgrade over Fantomex's focused assassin-style guns. Unlike the more manageable strength of Sabretooth, Ursa Major is a heavyweight powerhouse, and the sheer kinetic force he could generate puts him in a totally different category. A sentient bullet might give him a nasty sting, but he could simply level the entire building where the shooter's standing. However, he is still composed of flesh and bone. He can bleed, he can be injured, and he can definitely be killed by enough sustained force. He's a walking catastrophe, which is great, but unfortunately he's a catastrophe that can be put down with an extra large caliber gun, so I'd say he's not quite the full package yet. Number 10, Bucky Barnes is a bionic arm. When James Bucky Barnes was brought back as the Winter Soldier by the Soviet Union, the Super Soldier Serum gave him some nice physical enhancements. But his defining and far more powerful feature is his cybernetic left arm. Originally a Soviet design and later upgraded with Wakandan tech in some versions, this arm is a masterpiece of engineering. It grants Bucky superhuman grip strength and striking power that absolutely dwarfs his normal biological limits. He's capable of punching straight through concrete walls, tearing open armored vehicles, and even discharging EMP blasts to fry nearby electronics. It's an automatic defense and a bone-crushing offensive tool all in one. The bionic arm marks the glorious transition into high-tech invulnerability, ranking above Ursa Major because it focuses force into a smaller, incredibly dense, and perfectly hard point. Ursa Major is stronger in terms of overall mass, but the arm is a machine. It doesn't feel pain or fatigue. In a head-on clash, the middle arm can block blades and crush bones without any risk to itself. However, it's a prosthetic bolted into a very squishy biological host. It can be overpowered or even detached, which I think is a significant vulnerability. I would say that it means even the coolest technology is only as good as the guy who's wearing it. Number 9, Red Hulk's giant handgun. General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, after becoming the Red Hulk via gamma radiation and some cosmic juice, surprisingly retained his keen military mind and tactical brilliance. He utilizes a custom-built, comically oversized shield handgun, to fit his enormous hands. This thing is basically a shoulder-fired artillery gun, designed to fire tanks' shell-sized rounds, and it's purpose-built to hurt entities that are normally invulnerable. The sheer physics of the weapon are mind-boggling. It relies on the Red Hulk's gargantuan strength just to handle the massive recoil that would instantly turn a normal human into vapor. This weapon ranks highly because it perfectly combines the high lethality of a firearm with the raw kinetic energy of a small bomb. It allows the Red Hulk to engage planetary threats from a distance with a force capable of staggering beings like Thor. It ranks above Bucky's arm because of the sheer scale of the destruction it unleashes, and a single shot is enough to level a city block. However, it's liable to run out of ammo, and the gun itself is not indestructible. If Captain America ever throws his shield out the barrel, it's probably game over for the weapon, which means it offers massive offensive but a defensive rating of absolute 0. I guess size isn't everything when you can't reload. Number 8, Luke Cage's indestructible body. When Carl Lucas underwent a sabotaged experiment meant to replicate the super soldier serum, he ended up getting the world's most impressive case of super dermatitis. Luke Cage, also known as Power Man, has steel-hard skin and super dense muscle and bone tissue, essentially making him a walking tank. He is completely bulletproof, fireproof, and shrugs off extreme pressures and most chemical attacks without blinking. His body is the weapon, It allows him to ignore all conventional weaponry and get into a fist fight with beings far stronger than himself without even a scratch. Luke Cage ranks above Red Hulk's gun because his weapon is passive, permanent, and defensive, which is, I think, an enormous tactical advantage. The gun runs out of ammo and can break. Luke Cage never runs out of durability. He ranks higher than Bucky's arm because his entire body is enhanced, not just one limb, meaning whenever the team needs a shield, they can just sit behind him for cover. However, he is not truly indestructible. Adamantium can cut him, and a sustained heavy impact attack, like a full force punch from the Hulk, can cause fatal internal hemorrhaging, even if his skin remains completely unbroken. He is the ceiling of biological durability, which is an amazing superpower, but when you could die from internal bleeding, you're not quite ready for the cosmic big leagues. Number 7, U.S. Agent's Shield. When the government decided they needed a Captain America replacement, they turned to John Walker, an enhanced soldier who went through the power broker process to get his own superhuman strength. As the U.S. agent, he was issued a replica of Captain America's shield, and this thing is serious business. It's typically pure vibranium. It shares the near indestructible nature of the original and has that unique ability to absorb all kinetic energy and vibrations, allowing Walker to block impacts that would otherwise instantly kill a normal human. It's a standard aerodynamic disc, perfect for throwing and blunt force bludgeoning. This shield ranks above Luke Cage because the vibranium metal is demonstrably harder and more resilient than Luke's skin. While Luke can be cut by lasers or adamantium, a vibranium shield can withstand those attacks for a much longer time. It is an instrument of absolute defense. However, it ranks below the original because it's a standard production model. It's a perfect copy, and it does the job of protecting the users better than almost anything else on Earth. But it lacks the unique, almost magical metallurgy history of the first shield. It's the ultimate tool of protection, which is great quality for a weapon, but I would say getting a perfect copy is never as cool as getting the unique original. Number 6, Protocide's shield. Protocide, aka Clinton McIntyre, was a test subject for the super soldier serum before Steve Rogers, but the experiment failed and seemingly killed him. He was later revived by AIM and given the Omega Shield because naturally the first supposed Captain America needed a special weapon. This shield is a pristine chevron-shaped heater shield, also made of vibranium, and was designed to be the ultimate defensive weapon. On top of that, it has aerodynamic properties that are supposedly superior to the round shield because its pointed design causes less drag as it cuts through the air. The difference in ranking between Protocide and the US Agent is razor thin, but the Omega Shield gets the edge because of its aggressive design. While the US Agent's shield is a blunt object, the Omega Shield has a pointed tip, which allows it to be used for stabbing and piercing maneuvers that is a perfectly round shield cannot do. It can even pierce through vibranium, as you can see here. It retains the vibranium durability, making it indestructible to almost all terrestrial forms of damage, but adds a layer of offensive lethality, as you can see here when he nearly murdered US Agent using the shield's pointy part. It's the perfect combination of attack and defense, but I think it still falls short because no amount of redesign can beat an accidental alloy. I gotta say though, sometimes in order to beat a round shield, you just need to have a point. Number 5, Captain America's Vibranium Shield. The star of the show, the original, the legendary Disc of Destiny. Steve Rogers' weapon, given to him by President Roosevelt, is far more than just vibranium. It's a one-of-a-kind proto-adamantium vibranium alloy, created by a metallurgic accident that its creator, Dr. Myron McLean, could never repeat. This accident made the shield harder than pure vibranium, capable of reflecting energy and able to bounce with almost perfect physics-defying predictability. This is unequivocally the strongest shield in all of existence. It ranks above the previous shields because of its unique chemical stability. It has famously survived direct blows from Thor's hammer, the deepest cuts from Wolverine's claws, and molecular manipulation that has turned other vibranium objects into dust. It also ranks above the biological super soldiers because it's the one object that can actually bring a fight with a god, though maybe only temporarily. Though it is purely defensive, it cannot slice a tank in half by itself. It requires Steve Rogers to throw it, and the result kinetic energy do the damage. It is the ultimate shield, which is a great claim to fame, but I think being the best at defense means you're really good at waiting for the other guy to tire himself out, which is why these next entries are much stronger. Number 4, Adamantium Claws. While most famously associated with Wolverine, the inclusion of adamantium claws implies the weapon itself, whether found on Logan, X-23, or cyborgs like Lady Deathstrike. Adamantium is a man-made steel alloy that, once set, can never be destroyed or altered, making it the hardest known substance in the Marvel Universe. Yes, you heard that right. When bonded to a super soldier's skeleton or claws, it creates a weapon that can cut through virtually every single substance in the known universe, including steel, granite, and even through tough hide of the Hulk. It is the perfect offensive counterpoint to the perfect defensive metal, vibranium. These claws rank above Captain America's shield for one simple, brutal reason. Offensive dictates the pace of battle. If the shield successfully blocks the claws, the result is a stalemate. However, if the claws strike literally anywhere else, armor, flesh, concrete, a nuclear bunker, the target is instantly destroyed. The ability to cut through almost all durability is the ultimate trump card for a physical fighter in a universe full of seemingly invulnerable monsters. The claws turn the user into a force that simply cannot be contained, which is a significant advantage. In this scenario, the most important thing a weapon can do is not protect, but just end the argument. Number 3, Hulk's gamma-powered body. The Hulk, the ultimate byproduct of Bruce Banner's catastrophic exposure to gamma radiation, is an unintended attempt to replicate the super soldier serum that resulted in a green raging monster. Hulk's body is a biological weapon of functionally infinite potential. His strength is not static. It directly increases with his rage, meaning the angrier he gets, the more powerful the weapon becomes. His durability is legendary, allowing him to survive point-blank nuclear detonations, the total vacuum of space, and crushing pressure that would instantly destroy a submarine. He even stopped a planet-shattering asteroid by launching himself at it and walked away like it was nothing. On top of that, he possesses a regenerative factor that almost acts instantly, regrowing entire organs and large amounts of tissues in mere seconds. The Hulk ranks above adamantium claws because the Hulk can simply survive being cut. If Wolverine stabs the Hulk heals almost instantly and then proceeds to physically launch Wolverine into the stratosphere, totally negating the claw's advantage. His body generates kinetic energy that far exceeds any mechanical weapon or metal alloy, and his limitless strength curve easily negates the adamantium's cutting edge. He's a weapon with effectively no upper limit, which sounds great on paper, but when your power level is directly tied to your irritability, you're always just one bad day away from planetary destruction. Number 2, Sentry's The Void. Robert Reynolds attempting to recreate the super soldier serum went astronomically wrong when he drank a shimmering golden Sentry serum, which gave him the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns, but also birthed a coexisting terrifying dark side, the Void. The Void is the Sentry's total repressed, malignant psyche, which manifests as a separate entity of pitch-black tendrils and malevolent eyes. I could say this is a super soldier experiment gone wrong on a truly biblical scale. The Void ranks above the Hulk because it's demonstrated the ability to easily defeat him. In the World War Hulk storyline, the Sentry, even while holding back the Void, fought the Hulk to an absolute standstill. But the full unleashed Void has, in other encounters, broken every bone in the Hulk's body in a matter of seconds. The Void doesn't rely on physical strength, which is a huge advantage. It attacks the mind and the molecular structure of its enemies. What makes it even worse is that it can manipulate molecules, control darkness, and inflict psychological terror on a planetary scale. It tore Ares, the actual god of war, in half like a piece of wet newspaper, making it a threat that requires cosmic intervention to truly stop, which is a great resume builder if you're trying to be the scariest thing alive. Number 1, Red Skull's Cosmic Cube. Johann Schmidt, the Red Skull, was the Nazi answer to Captain America, and while he's often transferred his consciousness into cloned bodies of Steve Rogers, making him a super soldier by technicality, his ultimate weapon is not his body, but the Cosmic Cube, famously known as the Tesseract. The cube is not a gun or a sword. It's a containment matrix of primordial cosmic energy that completely responds to the will of the holder. It is a reality-altering device that grants the wielder omnipotence, limited only by the holder's imagination. This is unequivocally the strongest weapon that exists on this list. The Sentry and the Hulk are ultimately bound by the laws of physics, space, and time. The Cosmic Cube simply rewrites them. With the cube in his hands, the Red Skull can easily turn the Hulk into a harmless statue, instantly transform Adamantium into water, or completely erase the terrifying Void from existence. It transcends the very concept of a physical weapon and becomes an absolute tool of godhood. The only reason the Red Skull ever loses while holding it is due to his own arrogance, or sometimes the cube's sentience just doesn't want to listen to him. Which just goes to show that even when you have godlike power, you could still lose because you're a total jerk. Well, that's it for this one. If you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and ring the bell so you never miss a drop. Craving more stories from comics, movies, and beyond? Check out this video right here. Cheers and see you in the next one.